Hey there, everybody. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another edition of Ranking the Albums. Today, we're going to take a look at the catalog of none other than originally known as Yesterday and Today, but known for many, many years and decades as simply Y&T. All right, a great band from the West Coast here, the old U.S. of A. Dave Meniketti and company. Band that have a nice long career. I mean, it's just amazing how long they've been kind of going strong. So we got 12 studio albums. I'm not going to include their little acoustic thing that they did right towards the end. I'm going to start off with their 2010 Face Melter. Will be actually that's the one we're going to kind of end with, right? And we're going to look at all the studio albums that kind of came before it. So as always, I'm going to do these in the order of my preference. Going to rank all 12 of these that we're talking about. I have most of these on physical CD. I don't have a couple of them in a physical copy, right? But I've heard them all, and pretty good catalog for the most part, I think. So let's get it started here. Number 12, I wish I had this one to show. I don't have a CD copy of this, but I just mentioned before, the 2010 release Face Melter, which was on Frontiers Records, so it's been like 10 years since we've had like a brand new album of all original material from the guys. And this was the last album that they did before bassist Phil Kennemore passed away from cancer. You can picture the cover if you don't know it. Go take a look at it online, but it basically has the old logo back, the cool Y&T logo, which is basically this guy right there, the classic logo, right? But it's got this like big dragon on the front. It looks like a power metal album. It looks like any number of 2000s power metal albums that have come out over the last 20 years. It's not really so much a Y&T album, but then you listen to the album, and you know what? It's like the band is trying to sound really heavy, but it seems a tad forced. I mean, these guys are not as young as they used to be. I think they should just settle in and just play like the standard melodic, heavy rock, hard rock that they've always done. Instead, they're trying to out metal themselves. We got this, big, gigantic dragon on the front. We're on Frontiers Records. Let's do a big, huge sounding, heavy album. And I just don't find that the songs are as memorable as a lot of their other stuff. Meniketti's vocals also starting to sound, he's starting to kind of show the strains of all the years of singing. And this guy has had a great voice for so many years and so many decades. But there are some good tracks on here. I Want Your Money, good, rocking, kind of memorable. On With the Show kind of kicks things off. Pretty rampaging, rambunctious, raunchy rocker from the band. You got I'm Coming Home, which I like pretty well. And then Hot Shot, also another good, memorable hard rocker. The rest is kind of like, by the numbers a little bit. Like I said, it just sounds like they're trying a little bit too hard. And the material is just not quite as memorable, because this is a band that's got a lot of memorable stuff, whether you like their really early kind of heavy blues rocky sound, their more, traditional early 80s metal sound to the much more commercial, almost hair metal-y sound, then back to the heavy stuff again, right? They've kind of had all these peaks and valleys throughout their career. So coming in at number 11 is their 1990 album 10. All right, so this is the last album before the first breakup. Okay, they've had a lot of lineup changes, like kind of leading up to this album, like over the last couple albums, a lot of people coming and going. Hard Times, though, catchy, rocks pretty hard. Lucy is an absolutely cranking song. Love that. Meniketti's riffing. I mean, what a great guitar player this guy always has been. You think Gibson Les Paul, right? He's one of the guys that always comes up for me. Don't Be Afraid of the Dark could have been a hit like 4 years earlier. That's like, you listen to that song. Again, it's 1990, so it's kind of the end of this metal period, commercial metal, hair metal, whatever you call it, right? That's kind of goes away shortly thereafter. Grunge comes in. But if Don't Be Afraid of the Dark came out in 86 or 87, could have been big business. Big business. Come In From the Rain, heavy, memorable, great chorus. She's Gone, decent rocker, Let It Out, also pretty good. Overall, good album. 10 is not a bad album. I just think for me, it's kind of like a little too late. Metal's already kind of on the way out here. All thrash and extreme metal going to go into the underground, grunge and alternative going to be all the rage, right? So this kind of stuff really kind of goes away for a little bit. It's still around, but you got bands not knowing what to do. How do I fit in? Do we try and do the grunge and alternative style stuff like everybody else is? Do we just break up, So Y&T went away for a few years, okay? Number 10, I'm going to go with 1985's Down for the Count. Got the Bela Lugosi style Dracula there, looking to get some blood from the old German silent film Metropolis, the little robot there. Kind of really, I always thought this was a great cover because, again, it brings kind of two iconic movie characters from the golden age, from the 30s and the 20s, early like horror and sci-fi stuff. So I always thought pretty neat. This album though, you got the commercial elements really becoming prevalent. I mean, there's the guys in the band, you can kind of tell, right? So this is like 85, what has been called for decades hair metal all over the place. The band really lightening up their sound, adding even more hooks. The record company probably, say, hey, pump out some hits, right? So we got Summertime Girls, decent hit. I actually like Summertime Girls. I think it's a fun song. Love the chorus. It's just like a really silly kind of summertime song, right? But I like it. Anything for Money is really good. In the Name of Rock, both pretty heavy. Kevin Beamish produced this album, and it's like, it seems to me, the more you listen to this album over the years, it's like he was going for that big kind of Mutt Lange, Def Leppard production style. Big, huge choruses and, all the little synths and stuff, keyboards here and there, and the drums just sound overproduced. But, so many bands would kind of fall into that trap here. Looks Like Trouble is another good song. Tremendous riffing and soloing, plus a really gutsy Meniketti vocal. Again, great singer. On this song and on a lot of the songs on this album, you get those big gang choruses starting to sound just a little too much, like a little too forced. Again, too like Def Leppard. Let Def Leppard do that. Y&T, do your own thing. But not a bad album. It's just really commercial sounding, but it's got some good tracks. Next up, we're going to go number 9. We're going to go to Endangered Species from 1997. So again, this is the second of their kind of comeback albums. They came back in 95. The same lineup as 91. I believe the same lineup held in 97 on Endangered Species. Really solid, very heavy album. These two albums they did in the 90s are really heavy. You got some of the hooks coming back into the music, but the guitar is just absolutely thunderous. Great production on these albums. Really works. Heavier songs, more crunchy guitar work, but we're still going to try and retain some of the hooks. Works really well. Hello, Hello, I'm Back Again. Terrific song. Black Gold is great. God Only Knows. Great chorus. Killer Meniketti solo. Something for Nothing. I like the way they spell that too. SUMTHIN apostrophe 4, the number 4, nothing, NOTHN, right? Is there an I in there? Don't remember. Kind of down-tuned and grungy. Still works. Sail On By. Reminds me of their 80s ballads, right? Again, another one, really memorable chorus. Probably transplanted back in 85, 86. Might have done some business. I Want to Cry has that kind of 80s Van Halen, Van Hagar sound going for it. And then you got this instrumental called Rocco, which is at the end of the album, which is absolutely amazing. It's this kind of bluesy, hard rock, fusion-y type of thing with some absolutely killer shredding solos from Meniketti. I would like to hear more of that kind of stuff. He's just such a really, really tasty guitar player who could, lay out the crunch, who could shred with the best of them. But, at his core, he was always a very tasty, player who would do solos that fit the songs on his trusty Gibson Les Paul. Love Meniketti. All right, so that's number 9. Coming in at number 8, we're going to go with 1984's In Rock We Trust. Okay. Remember seeing this album in the racks, and I was thinking, oh, that's a pretty cool cover. You got the guys on the back. I believe to this day still this is their highest charting album. Get the song Lies, Lies, Lies. Good, solid, hard rocker. Great hook. All right. Tom Allen's production on the whole album is really crisp. The guitars have big heft, lots of crunch, plenty of dynamics in the music. He did a great job on so many Judas Priest albums. I think he does a great job here. Masters and Slaves, heavy anthemic track. Lipstick and Leather became a very popular song for them. Play it live quite a bit. Okay, got some, I believe if I'm not mistaken, they did a video for that. I remember hearing that on the radio too a little bit. Kind of a cliche song for the times, right? Mid-'80s, but still good. You go Don't Stop Running, another really memorable track that also got a little bit of attention, airplay and what have you, and with a killer chorus, and that song always reminded me of Night Ranger from like right around the same time period. It's like a lot of same characteristics in this and a lot of the Night Ranger tracks. She's a Liar is another good song that rocks pretty hard. So there you have it, number 8 in Rock We Trust. Coming in at number 7 is going to be Musically Incorrect, their 1995 kind of reunion album, coming back again with the same lineup they did after 4 years earlier. Really good album. Heavy album. Really heavy album. Longer songs. Most songs 5, 6, 7 minutes long. They really kind of did away, or they were trying really hard to distance themselves from that whole again, I'll use the term hair metal mentality, even though Y&T were always a lot more than that. But again, the big, ridiculous overblown productions and all the sweet choruses and all that kind of stuff. They're like, you know what, we are at our core a heavy rock / hard rock band. That's what we're going to do here. Screw grunge and alternative and all this other stuff. We're just going to get back to basics, and that's what Musically Incorrect is. And probably the title, Musically Incorrect, in 1995, did anybody want to listen to an album like that? Not really, but the band did it anyway, and kudos to them. Man, just booming, crushing riffs everywhere you look, face-melting solos. Meniketti's vocals are pretty aggressive throughout the whole album. You got Long Way Down, great song. Cold Day in Hell kicks ass. Fly Away, Quicksand, Pretty Prison. You got the real bluesy metal of Don't Know What to Do. It's just a really solid album all the way through that no one really bothered with at all, including myself at the time. But this is like one of those. In fact, I just tracked down. You can get it on Meniketti's website. You can get a 2-on-1. 2 CDs in one, Musically Incorrect and Endangered Species, all in one CD set. I just ordered because I was like, I just got to get these albums because they're really, really good. So there you have it. Number 7, Musically Incorrect from 95. Number 6, I'm going to go with 87's Contagious. Now again, it's contagious. The music is contagious. The music is very accessible, very commercial sounding. But I love it. And again, the band's descending right into hair metal territory on here, even more so than the Count album, I think. But, man, these songs are just absolutely catchy as all hell and infectious. I mean, the title track, I just love the title track, Contagious. Love that chorus. Love the kind of riffing going on there. It's just absolutely amazing. L.A. Rock, another ultra memorable song. Temptation is really cool, very moody, loaded with hooks though. Fight for Your Life, Armed and Dangerous, Rhythm or Not, Bodily Hard, all real kind of sleazy hard rockers with never-ending hooks and just guitar firepower all over the place. This did a little bit of business, but by here, the band's album sales are kind of dwindling a little bit, which doesn't really make much sense because there's so many other bands that are doing big business that have similar sound at the time. But was it overkill? I don't mean the band Overkill, but was it overkill with all these bands that were just coming out of the woodwork that Y&T had to kind of contend with the Rats of the world and the Motley Crues and the Poisons and the Faster Pussycats and all the Cinderella, all these bands, right? So it's like they were looked at as kind of the old dinosaurs. They had been around since the 70s, even though this stuff is just as catchy, just as accessible as a lot of those other ones, and probably musically speaking, probably has more interesting stuff going on. But but Contagious, I like this album a lot. I dig it. Coming in at number 5, I'm going to go with their debut from '76, Yesterday and Today, right? So that's the name they were going for at the time. Kind of a long name. I don't dig it. Y&T is much catchier, although maybe you'll say neither name is very cool, but who am I to say? But good album, good solid album. Again, very different sounding band. I liken the first 2 Y&T albums, or Yesterday and Today albums, kind of like Judas Priest's Rock-a-Rolla. Kind of like that old style, kind of muddy, bluesy, heavy rock, right? A little bit of boogie here and there. 24 Hours a Day is a really great track, and ironically, it sounds like Triumph from their first 1 or 2 albums. Very similar. Good bluesy, heavy rock with a killer riff. You got Gameplay and Woman. Kind of hinted at what was to come. That song kind of like a blueprint for what you would get on their 3rd, 4th, and 5th albums. Good heavy song, great vocal from Meniketti. You got Come On Over, Cranks, great riff. What else? My Heart Plays Too has a kind of cool, kind of Hendrixy, Pat Travers, Robin Trower vibe with a screaming guitar solo. Just really, really good, different kind of song for these guys. Then you got a song called Earthshaker, Fast and Furious, and ironically included on this album, and then they named a future album Earthshaker, right? Instead of saving the song for the album, right? whatever, cool name. Regardless, you got a couple of mediocre kind of boogie tracks on here, but otherwise a very strong debut that I like quite a bit. Again, production's kind of muddy on the first two albums, but it's kind of the charm. It's late 70s, right? Get it. Number 4 is going to be from 78, 2 years later, Struck Down. All right, there's the guys in the band. Again, you're going to set like a crappy cover, right? Guys looking kind of like Saturday Night Fever-ish on here. It doesn't really portray the style of music, so not a very good cover. What are you going to do? Second album, muddy production again. Probably even muddier than the first album, I think. But pretty heavy. Like I said, you get that kind of like rock and roll of Judas Priest on a lot of tunes on here. The title track has some serious heft to it. Pretty heavy. Pleasure in My Heart. Funky, almost Thin Lizzy feel to it, kind of like the Nightlife album, that sort of thing. Pretty cool. You got Road, which is a big, furious, lumbering boogie rock tune. You got Masty Sadie, bluesy hard rock. I'm Lost is great 70s heavy rock. Love that tune. And then you got Stargazer, which I believe is the last song on here. And Stargazer mixes kind of blues, a little bit of jazz, a little bit of prog, some blistering guitar solos, really cool 70s hard rock. So I dig this album. I think this is kind of like a formation. So here, a lot of things coming into play, the directions they would take just, literally 2 years from then. So let's jump ahead to 1992 for Black Tiger. So, I have always been, in all the years I've been listening to Y&T, it's always been, well, is Black Tiger better than Mean Street, right? Because those two albums kind of get lumped together by a lot of people. A lot of us were introduced to this band right around this time, either with Mean Street or Black Tiger. Today, I'm going to go with Black Tiger at number 3. It's a great album. It's a heavy album. It's a really well-produced album. You got the opener, Moon, From the Moon, Open Fire. From the Moon's really cool, tasty, memorable, majestic guitars, and then Whammo, Open Fire. Crunchy metal riffing, right? And Meniketti just killing it on vocals on this album. I think, Meniketti really came into his own with the third album, and then the fourth and the fifth and onwards. I mean, just a very underrated singer. What else we got here? I got the memorable Don't Wanna Lose. All right. Very, very cool song. You got the grinding and bluesy Hell or High Water. The real heart-tugging like harmony guitar lines that kick off Forever. Kind of Thin Lizzy-ish. Very, very cool. And then that song just kind of turns into this chugging hard rock anthem. What a great song Forever is. Title track, heavy as hell. Big, huge riffs, blazing leads, absolutely snarling Meniketti vocals, right? Then you got the moody, kind of proggy Winds of Change, which comes at the back end of the album, which dynamite song. So, and of course you got that great, great cover. Really, really strong album. Again, could rank higher next week, right? Today, number 2, I'm going to go with Mean Streak from 83. This is the first album I heard. Again, great album cover art. Great production on the album. All right. Chris Tsangarides produced the album. Guys worked on with so many bands. Remember the first time I heard that opening killer riff to Mean Street. I mean, boom, boom, bam, 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 boom, bam, 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 bam. It's just absolutely amazing. It's like, wow. I remember the first time I heard that on the radio, local radio station. Like, who is that? All right, you got the catchy Straight Through the Heart, the dynamite twin guitars in Midnight in Tokyo, another like ultra memorable song. You got the heavy yet real melodic Breaking Away. You got Hang 'em High, total headbanger. You got the slower kind of groove laden Take You to the Limit. Just a really, really strong album, start to finish. That again, probably neck and neck, these two. They could flip flop at any time in this ranking. However, my number 1 is always going to be my number 1. I just really love this song. I think start to finish, it's their strongest album, and that's Earthshaker from 1981. Their third album, pretty heavy album. Lots of just absolutely molten riffs on this album. This is the album, I think, for me, where Meniketti really came into his own as the lead singer of the band. All right, and a great singer. Always, to me, sounded like a kind of like a huskier Sammy Hagar, right? Kind of similar tone to his voice. You got the absolutely crushing Hungry for Rock, right? Just getting things started on here, and that goes right into Dirty Girl, which is this kind of grinding stomp of hard rock and metal track. Really good. Shake It Loose has plenty of grooves, kind of bluesy, kind of metally. You got the Blazing Squeeze, which has some just absolutely killer Meniketti guitar solos on it. You got the slow build of Rescue Me. Man, that chorus. How good is Rescue Me? The nice extended guitar solo at the end. You got the big and metallic Hurricane. And then, of course, they saved the best for last, the absolute classic I Believe in You, which turns into this big epic live in concert, right? It's got some of the most gut-wrenching vocals and guitar solos from Dave on any of these albums. And it's just man, the chorus just kills me. And I love the way the song just keeps building and building and building, right? It's just absolutely immense. So there you have it. Earthshaker, my number one Y&T album, my favorite. So let's recap the list. Earthshaker coming in at number 1. Number 2, Mean Streak. Number 3, Black Tiger. Number 4, Struck Down. Number 5, Yesterday and Today. Number 6, Contagious. Number 7, Musically Incorrect. Number 8, In Rock We Trust. Number 9, Endangered Species. Number 10, Down for the Count. Number 11, 10. And number 12, we're going to go with Face Melter, the last all-original studio album they did. So there you have it. I just realized I've got this kind of weird glare coming in through my blinds. There you have it. Ranking the studio albums of Y&T. Curious to see what you guys think and how you would rank these albums. Give us your top 5, your top 10, or all 12, whatever you think. I know a lot of people have been asking for Y&T, so here you go. Hope you enjoyed it. Add any commentary you like in the comments below. And I know we got a lot of fans out there, so curious to see what you guys think of Y&T. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter. Of course, we're here on YouTube all the damn time. If you like what you see here, please go to the I keep wanting to say album, video description below. I talk about albums too much. Go to the video description below. Click on our Ko-Fi link. All right, buy us a tea, a coffee, a pint of beer, whatever it is, a CD, that sort of thing. You can donate whatever you like. Help us out here on the channel. Keep this thing going, right? We also have a link to our merch page. We can buy yourself a t-shirt, a hoodie, a hat, a sticker, a coffee mug, as well as a link to our wonderful website that's been on the web almost 20 years now. God, it will be 20 years next year. Can't believe it. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this. Tune in later tonight for part 2, and this is the one you don't want to miss, part 2 of my chat with Carmine Appice, legendary drummer from the Beck Bogart and Appice and the Vanilla Fudge and Cactus and Rod Stewart and Ozzy Osbourne. This is the show where we talk about kind of Carmine's experiences in rock and roll and all the cool things he's done in his career, who he's played with, this is the episode where Carmine and I just sit and have a conversation, right? So you don't want to miss that. That'll be airing tonight. And then all sorts of good stuff coming up, right? So what have we got? What am I working on? Ranking the albums coming up over the next couple of days of German hard rock, progressive rock, krautrock group Birth Control. I'm also going to be doing a ranking the albums of German kind of fusion krautrock avant-garde band Agitation Free. We've also got Martin Popoff coming on the show tomorrow. We're going to do a little rant on underrated bands, as well as another album cover episode, except this time, instead of talking about the bad album covers, we're each going to talk about a couple bands that have consistently great album covers, right? We're going to kind of do that for the next week or so. So we're going to do that as well. What else do I have coming up? Man, I'm drawing a blank. We got more favorite guitar solo shows happening. All right, so Jeff Young's coming on the show this weekend. Jeff Young's coming back. We're going to each talk about our 10 favorite guitar solos from none other than Michael Schenker. And just so you all know, I had a conversation with Butch Jones today, and he and I probably in about 2 weeks are going to get together and do a couple shows. So Butch is coming back on the show. Monday night, we've got the Monday Night Must-See TV, all right, with the Hudson Valley Squares. And in fact, I think we got a 5th square being added. He was actually one of the original 4, and now he's might be coming back. The topic is going to be bands who changed their sound somewhere in their career, and each of us that are on the show, we're going to pick one where the change was for the better, and the other is the one that with the change was definitely for the worse. All right, so everybody's picking out specific bands for this, and we'll be coming at you to talk about it on Monday night, so you don't want to miss that. What else am I missing here? Interview with Jocko Jaksic from King Crimson had to be postponed for today. Hoping to reschedule that for next week, so that's coming. Trying to set up a time with Kurt Vanderhoof from Metal Church and Presto Ballet. That's going to be happening hopefully sometime in the next couple days, so there's that as well. What else am I missing? Man, there's so much stuff. Anyway, that's enough for now. So have a good one, everybody. We'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.